Let's find out what the Clintons did in Haiti. I also have recorded 2 prior videos in the Hot Topic series. You can check them out also here on my YouTube channel at gmarkphillips if you are so inclined. This video or this article is from Current Affairs, a magazine of politics and culture. Okay, let's get into this. From November 2nd, 2016. The link will be in the description down below. What the Clintons did in Haiti. Their actions in the country were shameful and shouldn't be defended. Yikes. Not surprising if you know the Clintons. Let's not also let the Bushes off the hook because what they did in Iraq was shameful. I would call that shameful and shouldn't be defended as well. All right, let's see what we have here. In this excerpt from Super Predator, Bill Clinton's Use and Abuse of Black America, we examine the Clintons' involvement in the country's affairs during Hillary Clinton's time at the State Department. Bill and Hillary Clinton, I also think that what the Democratic Party has done to Black America is tragic. It's tragic, to be quite honest. That's a topic for another video there, though. Bill and Hillary Clinton had long shared a personal interest in Haiti, dating back to the time of their honeymoon, part of which was spent in Port-au-Prince. In his autobiography, Bill said that his understanding of God and human nature were profoundly transformed when he witnessed a voodoo ceremony, yikes, in which a woman bit the head off a live chicken. Well, whatever to... I can't see that perspective, but whatever floats your boat, Bill Clinton. Hillary Clinton says the two of them fell in love, quote, with Haiti, and they had developed a deep connection to the country. Yikes. You don't want the Clintons fall in love with your country and try to, quote unquote, help you. That's a recipe for disaster, my friends. So when Hillary Clinton became Secretary of State in 2009, she consciously made the redevelopment of Haiti one of her top priorities. Holy shit. What did Ronald Reagan say when the scariest words you'll ever hear is, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help you"? Holy shit. Poor Haitians. The country, she announced, would be a laboratory where the United States could road test new approaches to development, taking advantage of what she termed the power of proximity. Holy shit. How'd you like that? Some lifelong government person to come to you and said, hey, we want to road test some shit on you. We've never done anything in the real world. We've never been a part of the real world. We've always been in the public sector. We want to road test some shit on you. Holy shit. That's the stuff that nightmares are made of, my friends. Let's see where we're at here. She intended to make Haiti the proving ground for her vision of American power. Hillary Clinton selected her own chief of staff, Cheryl Mills, to run the Haiti project. Mills would be joined by Bill Clinton, who had been deputized by the UN as a special envoy. Isn't that great? To Haiti. Bill's role was not well defined, and Haitians were curious about what was in store. Oh my gosh, poor Haitians. Can you imagine looking down the barrel of the Clintons coming into your country wanting to help you? Son of a bitch. Let's see here. Mills wrote in an email to Hillary Clinton that Haitians saw Bill's appointment as a step toward putting Haiti in a protectorate or trustee status, soon joking that he must be coming back to lead a new colonial regime. That's what I'd think if I saw the Clintons coming into my country. The Haitian media dubbed him Le Gouverneur. The project was heavily focused on increasing Haiti's appeal to foreign corporations. And there it is right there, my friends. It's all about these global corporations. And it sucks because politicians, are in the pocket. They do the bidding of these corporations and billionaire, quote unquote, philanthropists and the financiers of our world. And it pretty much hoses over people in those countries and people in America. We're not immune. We're feeling it pretty big time too. But these other countries they're less able to defend themselves, right? They're already kind of struggling, and these politicians come in and help, quote unquote, help them, and it just hurts them more. As Politico reported, Clinton's experiment had business at its center. Aid would be replaced by investment, the growth of which would in turn benefit the United States. Of course it would, Bill Clinton. You're going to benefit your buddies and corporations and bankers at the United States first and foremost. It's never about helping these poorer countries. One of the first acts in the new business-centered Haiti policy involved suppressing Haiti's minimum wage. A 2009 Haitian law raised the minimum wage to 61 cents an hour from 24 cents an hour previously. So that was a Haitian law, okay? Haitian garment manufacturers, including contractors for Hanes and Levi Strauss, were furious, insisting that they were only willing to agree to a 7-cent increase. The manufacturers approached the U.S. State Department, who brought intense pressure to bear against Haitian President René Préval, working to, quote, aggressively block the 37-cent increase. The U.S. Deputy Mission Chief said a minimum wage increase did not take economic reality into account and simply appealed to the unemployed and underpaid masses. But as Ryan Chittum of the Columbia Journalism Review explained, the proposed wage increase would have been only the most trivial additional expense for the American garment manufacturers. As of last year, Hanes had seen Haitians had 3,200 Haitians making T-shirts for it, paying each of them $2 a day. Would cost it about $1.6 million a year. Home Brands Incorporated made $211 million on $4.3 billion in sales last year, and presumably it would pass on at least some of its higher labor costs to consumers. Or better yet, Home Brands CEO Richard Knoll would forego some of his rich compensation package. He would pay for the rates for those 3,200 T-shirt makers was just 1/6 of the $10 million in salary and bonus he raked in last year. Yikes. The truth of the economic reality was that the Haitian garment sector was hardly likely to become wildly less competitive as a result of the increase. The effort to suppress the minimum wage was not solely a Clinton project. It was also a concerted effort on the part of Haitian elites, factory owners, free trade proponents, U.S. politicians, economists, and American companies. But it was in keeping with the State Department's priorities under Clinton, which prioritized creating a favorable business climate. It is all about creating a favorable business climate for the people that the politicians really work for. I hope you're starting to see the game plan here, right? It was that same familiar Clinton, more, quote, from aid to trade, Bill Clinton's program for Haitian development, designed by Oxford University economist Paul Collier, had garment exports at its center. Collier wrote that because of propitious factors like poverty and relatively unregulated labor markets, Haiti had labor costs that are fully competitive with China. Yikes. But the Clintons' role in Haiti would soon expand even further. In 2010, the country was struck by the worst earthquake in its history. The disaster killed 160,000 people. That's tragic. And displaced over 1.5 million more. The consequences of the earthquake were exacerbated by the ruined state of the Haitian food economy, plus the concentration of unemployed Haitian farmers in Port-au-Prince. Bill Clinton was soon put in charge of the U.S.-led recovery effort. He was appointed to head of Interim Haiti Recovery Commission, IHRC, which would oversee a wide range of rebuilding projects. At President Obama's request, Clinton and George W. Bush created the Clinton-Bush Haiti Fund. More politicians helping you out. Scary. And began aggressively fundraising around the world to support Haiti in the earthquake's aftermath, with Hillary Clinton as Secretary of State overseeing the efforts of U.S. aid. The Clintons' importance to the recovery could not be overstated. Bill's appointment meant that at every stage of Haiti's construction, fundraising, oversight, and allocation, a Clinton was now involved. Holy shit. Clinton announced that Haiti would be a laboratory where the United States could road test new approaches to development, taking advantage of the power of proximity. So we talked about that earlier. Despite appearances, the Clinton-Bush Fund was not focused on providing traditional relief, as they wrote. While other organizations in Haiti are using their resources to deliver immediate humanitarian aid, we are using our resources to focus on long-term development. While the fund would advertise that 100% of donations go directly to relief efforts, Clinton and Bush adopted an expansive definition of relief efforts, treating luring foreign investment and jobs as a crucial part of earthquake recovery. On their website, they spoke proudly of what the New York Daily News characterized as a program of supporting long-term programs to develop Haiti's business class. Yeah, heaven forbid helping the people in, on one hand, that does seem legit. On one hand, that does seem like an appropriate thing. Let's plant some seeds for future benefit. But again, you got to question when a government person wants to help you. The strategy, especially government people that are in the pockets of, corporations and global bankers, the strategy was an old one. Port-au-Prince had been reduced to ruin, and Haitians were crowded into filthy tent cities where they were dying of cholera outbreak, which had itself been caused by the negligence of the United Nations. Whatever value building new garment factories may have had as a long-term economic plan, Haitians were faced with somewhat more pressing concerns like the best provision of shelter and medicine, as well as the clearing of the thousands of tons of rubble that filled their streets. See what I'm talking about? The Clinton-led recovery was a disaster. Shocker. A year after the earthquake, a stinging report from Oxfam singled out Clinton's IHRC as creating a quagmire of indecision and delay that had made little progress toward successful earthquake recovery. Oxfam found that less than half of the reconstruction aid promised by international donors has been dispersed. And while some of that money has been put toward temporary housing, almost none of the funds have been used for rubble removal. Son of a bitch. Wild. Instead, the Clintons Foundation, IHRC, and State Department created what a Wall Street Journal writer called a mishmash of low-quality, poorly thought-out development experiments and half-finished projects. A Haitian IHRC member lamented that the commission had produced a disparate bunch of approved projects that do not address as a whole either the emergency situation or the recovery, let alone the development of Haiti. A 2013 investigation by the Government Accountability Office found that most money for the recovery was not being dispersed, and that the projects that were being worked on were plagued by delays and cost overruns. Many Clinton projects were extravagant public relations affairs that quickly fizzled. For example, the Washington Post reported that a 2011 housing expo that cost more than $2 million, including $500,000 from the Clinton Foundation, was supposed to be a model for thousands of new units, but instead has resulted in little more than a few dozen abandoned model homes occupied by squatters. Son of a bitch. Not surprising. They're not good use of resources, my friends. Anyone in the government is super detached. I always remind people that Clinton couldn't tell people what a gallon of milk cost back in the day, because see, they're detached. They're so insulated from boots on the ground people that you do not want these people helping you in any way, shape, or form. In fact, my recommendation is for government to just stay the F out of everyone's business. Everyone would be just fine, more fine. Do the bare minimum, protect, apply, do the police protection, make people safe, but stay the F out of our business. That's how the United States became the powerhouse that it is today. Freedom, opportunity, right? People were left alone, and when they're left alone, they invent, they create, they invest, they build, they do shit. Government people always F things up. And this is why we're in the state we're in right now in our country. Other Clinton ventures were seen as disconnected from the realities of most people in the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. Politico reported that many Clinton projects have primarily benefited wealthy foreigners and the island's ruling elite, who needed little help to begin with. Of course. I always remind people, politicians do not work for everyone. They work for the people that already have the money and that donate to their campaigns. This is why, if people are still listening to politicians in 2024, I urge them to reconsider, and or the mainstream media. Turn that shit off and go outside and take a walk in nature. That's the best thing for you. Or get out a piece of paper and invent products and services to sell them to people to benefit them. But the media and the politicians are no one's friends. Okay, I'm going to step off my soapbox now. Let's see where we're at here. For example, the Clinton-Bush Haiti Fund invested more than $2 million in the Royal Oasis Hotel, where a sleek suite was with hardwood floors costs more than $200 a night, and the shops sell $150 designer purses and $120 men's dress shirts. Let's see. Predictably, the royal oasis didn't do an especially roaring trade. The Washington Post reported that on a recent afternoon, the hotel appeared largely empty, and with tourism hardly booming 5 years after the quake, locals fear it may be failing. In a country with a 30-cent minimum wage, investing recovery dollars in a luxury hotel was not just offensive, but economically daft. Absolutely it was. Agreed, 100%. Sometimes the recovery projects were accused not only of being pointless, but of being downright harmful. For instance, Bill Clinton had proudly announced that the Clinton Foundation would be funding the construction of emergency storm shelters in Leogane, but an investigation of the shelters that the foundation had actually built found that they were, quote, shoddy and dangerous and full of toxic mold. Dude, the shit just keeps getting better and better, doesn't it? The nation discovered, among other things, that the temperature of the shelters reached over 100 degrees, causing children to experience headaches and eye irritations, which may have been compounded by the mold. And that the Freudian slip, my bad. The trailers showed high levels of carcinogenic formaldehyde linked to asthma and other lung diseases. Holy shit. Like you can't F it up this bad, almost like they were trying to do it. The Clinton Foundation had subcontracted the building of the shelters to Clayton Homes, a firm that had already been sued in the United States by the Federal Emergency Management Administration. Holy shit. Government contractors, my friends, watch your back. For having provided formaldehyde-laced trailers to Hurricane Katrina victims. So, dude, holy shit, you can't make this shit up. Clayton Homes was owned by Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway, and Buffett had been a long-standing major donor to the Clinton Foundation. You see how this shit is all connected? You know, just like as I said earlier, Pfizer gives Trump $1 million for his campaign. Trump writes him a blank check. Well, Trump and the Gov writes him a blank check for how many billion? And says, hey, no liability. You know, here's the money up front. Give us your product. Holy shit. Watch your back, my friends. The more we learn about government, the more we know what George Carlin said is true. It is one big club, and most people are not in that club. Let's see. The nation's investigation reported on children whose classes were being held in Clinton Foundation trailers. Their semester had just been cut short, and the students sent home because the temperature in the classroom had grown unbearable. The misery of the students in the Clinton trailers was described. Judith Syed, a student in Lubert's 6th grade class, explained that she and her classmates regularly suffered from painful headaches in their new Clinton Foundation classroom. Every day, she added, her head hurt and I felt like I was spinning and have to stop moving, otherwise I'd fall. Her vision goes dark, as is the case with her classmate Judo, who sometimes can't open his eyes because, says Saeed, he's allergic to the heat. Their teacher regularly relocates the class outside into the shade of the trailer because the swelter inside is insufferable. Sitting in the 6th grade classroom, student Mondiali Cineas, who dreamed of becoming a nurse, said that 3 times a week the teacher gives her and her classmates painkillers so they can make it through the school day. At noon, the class gets so hot, kids get headaches. The 12-year-old said, wiping beads of sweat from her brow. You gotta be kidding me. She is worried because the kids feel sick, can't work, can't advance to succeed. Makes sense. The most notorious post-earthquake development project, however, was the Caracal Industrial Park. And I talked about this in my prior article on the Clintons on Haiti. The park was pitched as a major job creator, part of the goal of helping Haiti, quote, build back better. Son of a bitch. There it is. What is Biden doing? Build back better. Again, when your government tries to help you build back better, watch your back. Same old dog and pony show, different country. So it's pitched as helping Haiti build back better than it was before. The State Department touted the prospect of 100,000 new jobs for Haitians, with Hillary Clinton promising 65,000 jobs within 5 years. The industrial park followed the Clintons' pre-existing development model for Haiti, public-private partnership with a heavy emphasis on the garment industry. Even though there were still hundreds of thousands of evacuees living in tents, the project was based on, quote, the more expansive view that in a desperately poor country where traditional foreign aid has chronically failed, fostering economic development is as important as replacing what fell down. Much of the planning was focused on trying to lure a South Korean clothing manufacturer to set up shop there by plying them with U.S. taxpayer funding. Son of a bitch. You got to be kidding me. The story gets more horrific as you read on. The Caracal Project was the centerpiece of the U.S. recovery effort. A gala celebrating its opening featured the Clintons and Sean Penn. There's our little buddy Sean Penn. Remember when he give his Oscar to that other actor, to the other actor in Ukraine, Zelensky. And it was treated as the emblem of the new, quote, better Haiti that would demonstrate the country's commitment to being open for business in order to build the park. Excuse me, hundreds of poor farmers were evicted from their land so that millions of dollars could be spent transforming it. Dude, you gotta be freaking kidding me. But the project was a terrible disappointment. After 4 years, it was only operating at 10% capacity and the jobs had failed to materialize. Far from 100,000 jobs or even the 60,000 promised within 5 years of the park's opening, Caracal currently employs just 5,479 people full-time. That comes out to roughly 55,000 in investment per job. Son of a bitch. Created so far. Or to put it another way, about 30 times more per job than the average Caracal worker makes per year than the average Caracal worker. 30 times more. See, this is why government people, especially if they've been in for a long time, they're not bright. They're not bright people and or corrupt. That's what I say. The continuum is this. This is my assessment of how government is. It's either incompetent or corrupt. There's nothing past. I've never seen anything go past incompetent. That's the continuum. And I know a lot of good people who do work in government, and I'm not including them in this, but I'm just saying the ones at the top, the ones that climb the ladder, so to speak, incompetent and or corrupt. When I see them coming down the street, walking my way, I cross to the other side, hide in the bush, get the F out of their way. Let's see. The park built on the site of a former U.S. Marine-run slave labor camp, holy shit, during the 1915 through 1934 U.S. occupation, has the best paved roads and manicured sidewalks in the country, but most of the land remains vacant. Most of the seized farmland went unused then, and even for the remaining farmers, quote, surges of wastewater have caused floods and spoiled crops. Dude. Huge queues of unemployed Haitians stood daily in front of the factory awaiting jobs that did not exist. The Washington Post described the scene. Excuse me. Each morning, crowds line up outside of the park's big front gate, which is guarded by 4 men in crisp khaki uniforms carrying shotguns. They wait in a sliver of shade next to a cinder block wall, many holding resumes and envelopes. Most said they have been coming every day for months, waiting for jobs that pay about $5 a day. From his envelope, Jean Mito Palvetas, 27, pulled out a diploma attesting that he had completed 200 hours of training with the U.S. Agency for International Development on an industrial sewing machine. I have 3 kids and a wife and can't support them, he said, sweating in the hot morning sun. I have a diploma, but I still can't get a job here. I still have nothing. For some, the Caracal Project perfectly symbolized the Clintons' approach. Big promises, an emphasis on sweatshops, incompetent management, and little concern for the actual impact on Haitians. Caracal is a prime example of bad help. Of course it is. Of course it is. As one Haiti scholar put it, quote, the interest of the market, the interest of the foreigners are prioritized over the majority of people who are impoverished in Haiti, end quote. Yes, they always are. These politicians are clown shows and worse. But failure as it may have been, the Caracal factory was among the more successful of the projects. Holy shit. So that shit show was actually one of the more successful projects. That's scary. insofar as it actually came into existence. A large amount of money raised by Bill Clinton after the earthquake and pledged by the U.S. under Hillary Clinton simply disappeared without a trace. Its whereabouts unknown, as Politico explained. Of course it is. Shocker. Let's see. Even Bill's UN Office of the Special Envoy couldn't track where all of it went. And the truth is that still today, no one really knows how much money was spent, quote, rebuilding Haiti. Many initial pledges never materialized. A whopping $465 million of the relief money went through the Pentagon, which spent it on deployment of U.S. troops. Son of a bitch. $465 million. That is outrageous. 20,000 at the high water mark, many of whom never set foot on Haitian soil. That's weird. That money included fuel for ships and planes, helicopter repairs, and inscrutables such as an $18,000 contract for a jungle gym. That sounds like government work right there. Huge contracts were doled out to the usual array of major contractors, including a $16.7 million logistics contract whose partners included Agility Public Warehousing, KSC, a Kuwaiti firm that was supposed to have been blacklisted from doing business with Washington after a 2009 indictment alleging a conspiracy to defund the U.S. government during the Iraq War. Son of a bitch. It's all connected, my friends. The recovery under the Clintons became notorious for its mismanagement. Clinton staffers had no idea what Haiti was like and had no sensitivity to the Haitians. They were reportedly rude and condescending towards Haitians, even refusing to admit Haitian government ministers to meetings about recovery plans. This is what pisses me off. Let me go off on a rant here. This is what pisses me off about Democrats. Sons of bitches. I'm sorry, but sons of bitches. And people that are supporting these Democratic leaders, shame on you. Shame on you if you're supporting these people. They don't give a shit. They don't give a shit, clearly. I'm okay. I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent because I want to wrap this up. While the Clintons called in high-profile consulting firms like McKinsey to draw up plans, they had little interest in listening to Haitians themselves. Of course they didn't. It doesn't surprise me. The former Haitian prime minister spoke of a weak American staff who were more interested in supporting Clinton than helping Haiti. That's why they have their little yes people around them, the little brown nosers. They're with their noses so far up the Clinton's ass, they can't see the reality of what they're doing in the world, hurting these Haitians in this instance. You know, all under the guise of build back better. Give me a freaking break. One of those shocked by the failure of the recovery effort was Chelsea Clinton, who wrote a detailed email to her parents in which she said that while Haitians were trying to help themselves, every part of the international aid effort, both governmental and non-governmental, was falling short. That's interesting. The incompetence is mind-numbing, she wrote. Chelsea produced a detailed memorandum recommending drastic steps that needed to be taken in order to get the recovery on track, but the memo was kept within the Clinton family. Released only later under a Freedom of Information Act disclosure of Hillary's State Department's correspondence. That is interesting. So even Chelsea was saying, hey, mom and dad, why don't you pull your heads out? If it had come out at the time, as Haiti journalist Jonathan Katz writes, it would have obliterated the public narrative of helping outsiders, saving grateful earthquake survivors that her mother's State Department was working so hard to promote. The Clintons' Haiti recovery ended with a whimper. The Clinton-Bush Haiti Fund distributed the last of its funds in 2012 and disbanded without any attempt at further fundraising. The IHRC quietly closed their doors in October of 2011, even though little progress had been made. As the Boston Review's Jake Johnson explained, though hundreds of thousands remain displaced, the IHRC wiped its hands of the housing situation. So, okay, peace out. We're moving on. We're rolling on. That's how government is. Sons of bitches. They come in all like hot and heavy. We're going to help this shit. And because they're incompetent and or corrupt, it always is a shit show. And then they just bail out and then they leave people with a fucking mess. Pardon my French. Little remained of the grand plans to build thousands of new homes. Instead, those left homeless would be given a small one-time rental subsidy of about $500. Is that right? Yeah, about $500. Sounds a lot like the COVID relief checks that came. Here's 300, here's 1,000 for a family of whatever. Peace out. What a joke. These subsidies, funded by a number of different aid agencies, were meant to give private companies the incentive to invest in building houses. As efforts to rebuild whole neighborhoods faltered, the rental subsidies turned Haitians into consumers, and the housing problem was handed over to the private sector. The Clintons themselves simply stopped speaking about Haiti. After the first 2 years, they were nowhere to be seen. There, despite Hillary's having promised that her commitment to Haiti would long outlast her tenure as Secretary of State. Haiti has been given little attention during Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign, even though the Haiti project was ostensibly one of the great pride for both Clintons. These people are sons of bitches, and they're on both the left and the right. The widespread consensus among observers is that the Haiti recovery, which Time called the U.S. compassionate invasion, was a catastrophically mismanaged disappointment. Jonathan Katz writes that it's hard to find anyone these days who looks back on the U.S.-led response to the January 12, 2010 Haiti earthquake as a success. While plenty of money was channeled into the country, it largely went to what were, quote, little more than small pilot projects, a new set of basketball hoops, and a model elementary school here, a functioning factory there. The end result has been that little has changed for Haiti. Haitians find themselves in a social and economic situation that is worse than before the earthquake. See, that's the fucking problem. Worse than before the earthquake. These bastards. Reports a Belgian journalist who has spent 10 years in Haiti. So that sounds like someone who knows what's up, boots on the ground, finger on the pulse of what's happening. Everyone says that they're living in worse conditions than before. When you look at the history of humanitarian relief, there's never been a situation when such a small country has been the target of such a massive influx of money and assistance in such a short period of time. On paper, with that much money in a territory the size of Haiti, we should have witnessed miracles. There should have been results. This is why whenever the government comes and says we need more money, I tell them to pound sand, because money doesn't solve problems. Intelligence solves problems. Pure intentions solve problems. Creativity solve problems. And of course, the number one problem solver is to remove corruption and remove the incompetence. That's what solves the problem. You don't need money. But that's their go-to that they always come to. This is why, I tell them to pound sand. If anything, they appear worse off, says foreign policy of Haiti's farmers. Quote, I really cannot understand how you could raise so much money, put a former U.S. president in charge, and get this outcome, said one Haitian official. Indeed, the money donated and invested was extraordinary, but nobody seems to know where it has gone. Of course they don't, because that's how they roll, corrupt. Haitians direct much of the blame toward the Clintons. As a former Haitian government official who worked on the recovery said, there is a lot of resentment about Clintons here. People have not seen results. They say that Clinton used Haiti. Haitians, quote, increasingly complain that Clinton's backed projects that often help the country's elite, the international business investors, more than they have helped poor Haitians. There is a suspicion that their motives are more to make a profit in Haiti than to help it. And that while striking a populist pose, in practice, they were attracted to power in Haiti. Of course they were. That's how these politicians are. They're stupid, dumb, retarded, and corrupt. I hate to say that about human beings, but their actions speak louder than their words. Always look at what a person has done or is doing to know who they are. They are clown shows. But perhaps we should be more forgiving of the Clintons' conduct during the Haitian recovery. After all, instead of doing true harm, the Clintons simply failed to do much good. And I would argue that. It's like giving a bunch of money to a person addicted. This is a bad example. A person who his life is not in a good situation. You're actually doing them more harm than good, because again, the money's going to create more problems. And perhaps it's better, to have a luxury hotel than to not have one. I would argue against that. Better to have a few jobs than none at all. Thanks to Bill Clinton, there's a gleaming new industrial park, albeit one operating a fraction of its capacity. Yet it's a mistake to measure Clinton against what would have happened if the United States had done nothing at all for Haiti. The question is, what would have happened if a capable, non-famous administrator, rather than a globe-trotting narcissist, ooh, yeah, I love this, had been placed in charge? Tens of millions of dollars were donated toward the Haiti recovery by people across the world. It was an incredible outpouring of generosity. The squandering of that money on half-baked development schemes, mainly led by cronies, and the ignoring of Haitians' own demands meant that Clinton may have caused considerable harm through his failure. Plenty of people died in tent cities that would not have died if the world's donations had been used effectively. 100% amen to that statement. Democrats have bristled at recent attempts by Donald Trump to criticize Hillary Clinton over her record in Haiti. Jonathan Katz, whose in-depth reporting from Haiti was strikingly critical of the Clintons, has now changed his tune, insisting that we all bear the responsibility for the failed recovery effort. That's weird. When Trump accused the Clintons of squandering billions building a sweatshop in Haiti in the form of the Caracal Park, media fact-checkers quickly insisted that he was spewing Pinocchios. The Washington Post said that while Clinton Foundation donors may have financially benefited from the factory building project, they benefited, quote, writ large, rather than directly. The Post cited the words of the factory spokesman as evidence that the factory was not a sweatshop and pointed out that Caracal workers earned at least minimum wage, failing to mention that minimum wage in Haiti remains well under $1. PolitiFact also rated the sweatshop claim mostly false, even though Katz notes long hours, tough conditions, and low pay. At the factory, and PolitiFact acknowledges the ongoing theft of legally earned wages. That's some bullshit right there. Defending the Clintons, Defending the Clintons' Haiti record is an impossible endeavor, one Democrats should probably not bother attempting. At the Center for Economic and Policy Research, which has studied the recovery, noted it comes to the Clinton-led recovery mission. It's hard to say it's been anything other than a failure. Haitians are not delusional in their resentment of the Clintons. They have good reason to feel as if they were used for publicity and discarded by the Clintons when they became inconvenient. None of this means that one should vote for Donald Trump for president. His tears for Haiti are those of a highly opportunistic crocodile, and his interest in the country's well-being began at the precise moment that it could be used a bludgeon with which to beat his political opponent. As we have previously noted in this publication, one does not need to be convinced that Hillary Clinton is an honorable person in order to be convinced that she is the preferable candidate. Holy shit. Even after all that, they're going to back her. You got to be kidding me. It is important, however, not to maintain any illusions, not to stifle or massage the truth in the service of short-term electoral concerns. It remains simultaneously true that a Clinton presidency is our present least worst option, and that what the Clintons did to Haiti was callous, selfish, and indefensible. Wow, wild. So even at the end, they're like, but we're still good with them. You got to be kidding me. All right, let me know what you think in the comments section down below. If you have resources or knowledge or information, please share it down there with the rest of us. Leave me a thumbs up if you like this video. Check out focusandflow.co for products and apparel for conscious creators to help you create the business and lifestyle that you want. Remind you that you are created in the image and likeness of God, and you have the creative principle within you, which is God's creative principle, creative power, and use it to do good things in the world. Create parallel systems to actually, help people as opposed to hurt them, like we've talked about in this article. Last but not least, I would love to have you as a subscriber here on my YouTube channel, if you are so inclined. Also, anywhere on social media at GMarkPhillips. Until next time, I wish you all the best health, wealth, and success. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great day.